Let's talk about whether the right have lost their balls, whether they're dying out. I mean, what is happening here? Because...
No. Look at Italy. Giorgia Meloni is going to become the Italian Prime Minister. Look at Sweden 2 weeks ago. That country ruled by Social Democrats since 1945 until now. There's going to be a Conservative majority leading Sweden. Actually, all over the world, we are seeing a move against globalism. Because what's globalism done? It's made the rich richer and disadvantaged absolutely everybody else. But somehow in our countries, we get people who masquerade at election time as being Conservatives, don't have the courage to stand up and fight for our values. Yet when they do, when in 2019 I got rid of Mrs May as Prime Minister.
Thank you.
That was a very happy day. And then Boris comes in, stands on a Farage East agenda and gets an 80-seat majority. The other thing I've noticed in the last couple of days here, just being at airports, breakfast in hotels, people are coming up, just talking to me. They're desperate for leadership in Australia, and they don't see where it's coming from.
But also they feel, and quite rightly so, that it's an assault on all fronts, that what was status quo yesterday is far right today. And therefore, as soon as wanting to preserve a status quo is immediately defined by the language police, by the media that reinforce it, the business that back them in, as some sort of sedition against reality. But it's it's just saying I want to hold the line for a country that has borders, that protects its language, that believes in its culture, that understands the reason why we don't have many of the problems the rest of the world has is because of what we have done to this point.
Yes, I mean, but that's the problem, isn't it? That the left march on, march on, march on, and Conservatives pathetically and weakly defend a position, then decide it's too uncomfortable, too difficult, too much abuse, and retreat. And it's retreat, retreat, retreat. So actually, holding the line's no good anymore.
Yes.
We've got to retake much of the ground that's been lost. And I tell you what, free speech, as we've seen with the New South Wales police today, getting free speech back, absolute rights of free speech, provided it does not incite anybody or anything. So we have to actually move forwards on this. And that needs leaders of courage. And what these ordinary Australians are saying to me is, who is going to do it?
Does anyone feel like they're beginning? I mean, do you pay attention to Pauline Hanson, Mark Latham? What do you think of Peter Dutton?
These are important voices, and I'm sure that Peter Dutton is a very, very decent fellow. Shame he can't smile a bit more.
Sorry, he's right now watching the telly.
But if we're going to retake ground, and this is the point, as opposed to just holding the line grimly, we're going to need some happy warriors.
Great point.
We're going to need some inspiration. We're going to need some excitement. We're going to need to get a lot of young people, too, on our side with this. So I'm not being critical of Peter Dutton. He's a very decent man. But we need more people out there with guts, courage, prepared to take the stick. And just the general feeling I'm getting, from ordinary Australians is they're worried there's a lack of people.
Well, I always say, they used to talk about, punk, of course, and anti-establishment were all things about bagging the Queen or having a go at religious institutions. You want to be a punk now, you're looking at it. You don't need the mohawk anymore. You don't need the crazy hair. You don't need to burn flags or write things. You're seeing it right here. And this is the pushback, and this is what we're going to try to do here. So this is what punk looks like. God love you, Twitter.